Homemade cinnamon rolls, anyone? Look at those. If you like homemade, soft, melt in your mouth cinnamon rolls, this is a recipe for you. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I make these just delightful cinnamon rolls. They are like the best. And if you are going to have cinnamon rolls for, say, like breakfast, a big breakfast, you might want to make your cinnamon rolls, start making the dough like the afternoon before. The dough will rise, and then in the evening, then you can go ahead and roll them up and let them rise again, throw them in the oven, bake them, and then that way they'll be ready for you in the morning when you get up and you can have them for breakfast. But cinnamon rolls, as you know, it's not just breakfast food. Nope, you can have cinnamon rolls any time of the day. So anyway, here's how I make these cinnamon rolls. But first of all, let me show you. I don't know if I'm gonna, well, there's the bottom. Might be a little bit hard. Let me take a bite. See that? These are really good. So anyway, okay, let's get started on this fabulous dough. What ingredients do we need? Well, we need flour. I've got 3 cups of flour in here, and I'm mixing around the half of a teaspoon of salt that I put in there. Then we have 1 egg. We have half of a pack of vanilla pudding, and you can even use that French vanilla pudding if you like. Half of a pack is about 5 tablespoons, or a little under, maybe 4.5 tablespoons to 5 tablespoons, because there's a little under 10 tablespoons in a pack, and I know because I measured it out. So half of a pack of vanilla pudding. I have an extra cup of flour here on the side so we can work it in with our dough when we need it. We need 1 1/4 cup of water, warm water, with a tablespoon of sugar, and I put that in first before my yeast, just to kind of mix it up, dissolve it a little bit. Then I put in, it's a packet of yeast, or if you have the jar, it's 2 teaspoons and 1/4, so 2 1/4 teaspoons. And then I just give it a little mix with my little spatula here, and this is already proofed. You need 1 1/4 cup of warm milk, and I put this in my microwave for like 35 seconds, and it's warm. I mean, it's not like warm, but it's warm enough. In other words, you don't want to put cold milk in. And then we have half of a stick, or 1/4 cup of melted butter. So, first things first, kind of get your well going there. I went ahead and I, mixed my egg up just a little bit. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to go ahead and put in, I should probably put the pudding in with the flour and mix that up, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put in the milk, and I'm going to put in the butter, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my pudding. I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this up. Well, sometimes I just use my hands. I'll just do this, because I end up kneading it anyway, and I'm one of these people, when I'm mixing dough, I like to get my hands in there. So there we go, just a little bit like that, and then see, gets on my hands. That's okay. I need to pour in my yeast mixture, and then I'm going to begin mixing this thoroughly. I'm going to start adding my other cup of flour, and then if I don't get it all mixed up here in the bowl, I'll put some of the flour out here on the surface and start working it in, and I'll be right back. Okay, in the bowl, when I was mixing, I added that other cup of flour, transferred it out here, and I've used probably, I don't know, about half of a cup of flour, additional flour, to knead and work with the dough. You're going to find that that's going to be all that's needed. It's going to be a nice soft dough. When you poke like this, it should do that. It should kind of come back. So you have this really nice soft dough. It's going to see, well, I don't know if you saw that, but, well, let me try kneading it a little bit more. You'll see where it might start sticking a little bit. There we go, like that. Just because it's sticking like that, don't add any more flour. That little bit of sticking is good. You want a real soft dough because we're making cinnamon rolls. We're not really making bread. And, you know, when you bite into a cinnamon roll, it's just nice and fluffy. That's what we want. So this is good. I've sprayed my bowl. I'm just going to transfer this right back in there. I'm going to cover it with saran. I'm going to let it rise. And then I'll come back after it has risen. All right, look at the dough. It's risen very, very nicely. I don't know, it's probably been rising for an hour, a little over an hour. Put it in a warm place, it will rise pretty quickly. And I forgot to spray the top of my dough there. That's okay. So I have some flour. I'm going to put the dough out here and I'm going to roll it. I'm going to try to get it in a rectangle, nothing round, because we're going to roll this in a log. So you're going to need a rolling pin. You're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. You're going to need 4 teaspoons of cinnamon, and you're going to need half of a stick of very soft butter, because we're going to spread it. And I actually even take my fingers and spread it, but like if you have a pilot knife, you know, let me show you. Like something like this, or even a smaller one, you can use that, but I just spread it with my fingers. So I'm going to get this all rolled out. And because you have a soft dough, you're going to find when you begin rolling it, it might get still a little bit sticky onto your rolling pin. So just make sure that you sprinkle a little bit of flour here and there as you need it. You won't need much, just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. It's more like a square than a rectangle, but you want to get it, where is that? It's maybe about like 1/8 of an inch thick, 1/4 of an inch thick, something like that. You want it pretty thin. And see, you'll even begin to see like the little bubbling still from it, and that's a good sign. It means that when you roll this and slice it, and then the slices, you know, they have to rise again, you're going to get nice fluffy rolls. So the next thing we're going to do, I got my butter opened. I'm going to spread butter all over, coming close to the edge, not all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to take my brown sugar, sprinkle all of it. And the same thing with the cinnamon. And if you like raisins, I like raisins sometimes in my cinnamon rolls. I'll put raisins in there, but I'm not going to this time. Just going to make just standard cinnamon rolls. So anyway, I like this. I love looking at these little bubbles right there. That's a really good sign. The aroma of that cinnamon, it smells so good. So this is what you get, just like that. So now I'm going to begin rolling it all up, and we have to fold in the sides. So what I usually do to start out with my rolling, I just fold the sides in like this. Same over here, just so that it kind of seals up your ends. Just like that. And then we're going to start rolling. And you want to kind of like pinch it a little bit as you're rolling, tucking it under there, because then you'll get a nice tight roll. Sometimes even if you lift it just a little bit, but very carefully. You don't want to loosely roll it because, you know, you want to get this as tight as possible. So, and then this very last part is we're going to pinch it a little bit underneath here because we want to seal that nice and tight. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a log. And we need to have already greased dish here. You can put them on a baking sheet if you like. I just put them in here. Kind of close together. So we're just going to start slicing, and to make sure that everything's even, I cut in half. Then I cut this one in half, this one in half, and then you just kind of keep doing that in half, until you get, you know, all equal parts. And then Again, here you'll just come like that. This one you'll cut like this, and so forth. Okay, you usually get about like 16 to 17 pieces. And again, we can put this, you know, usually I put these in here and then we just kind of like pull them apart. But you can, if you want them spaced out a little bit so they get really big, you know, you could put them in a baking sheet. Okay, here you are. There's been times that I put like 15 in there, like I have moved these even closer together, and really then the whole pan, it all comes together, which is nice because then you can pull it apart. But I didn't want to squash it this time, so I only have 12 in here this time, and then the extras I just put right here. And again, you can put them separate like this on a stone or a baking sheet or however you like to do it. So these have to rise again, and then we are going to bake. Okay, while my cinnamon rolls are rising, I just go ahead and make my glaze and just get it set aside. It is 1 stick of very softened butter and 3 cups of powdered sugar, 4 tablespoons of milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And if your butter is room temperature, I mean really, really soft, you can mix this with a spatula or with a hand whisk. But if your butter's not, you can always put it in a mixer or a hand mixer and mix it like that. So anyway, this should be enough glaze for your cinnamon rolls, and mine are still rising. Obviously, they've only been over here for, I don't know, between 20 and 30 minutes. They're going to go a little while longer, obviously, and then you bake them at 350, and just, you know, 15 minutes, come and check on them. If they look golden brown, obviously they're done. If they need to go a few more minutes, you can put them in a few more minutes. And then obviously you're going to let them set until they're pretty cool. Not all the way cold. You want them to be between warm and cooled off. Then you can put the glaze on. If you put the glaze on when they're too warm, it's going to get real translucent. It's going to ooze all the way down the side and kind of, you know, come off of your cinnamon rolls. But if you wait until they're right at, you know, between warm and cooled off, just right there. If you put the glaze on, the glaze will stay really nice and it will begin to drip down the sides, but not like drip down the sides to drip off. Okay, here we are a half hour later, and this is exactly what we want. So when you put them, you know, like this, where they're a little closer together, they'll touch. That's okay. They're going to expand a little bit more, even when they bake. If you just put them out, you know, by themselves, you know, you get like this. So I'm going to get these in the oven to bake. Okay, here they are, fresh out of the oven. Now, how do you know if your cinnamon rolls are done? These went for 18 minutes. I checked them at 15 minutes. It looked like, oh, let me do it a minute and a half. But then as I kept pressing and touching, which I'll show you in a minute, I let it go an extra 2 minutes. So really it went for an extra 18 minutes. Well, not an extra. It went total 18 minutes, okay? Now, obviously you can see over here they started to get a little golden. When they're a little golden brown, they're done. So that's fine. When they're in here like this, or, you know, where you got them spread really close, obviously you want, where you're looking at it, the bread is done. But also in the center, you want to push on this bread part. Now, in here, it's going to like move around a little bit because that's where your butter and your sugar is. But when you push and you push on the bread part here, like, it's firm. Okay, it's not gooey. Now, it's going to seem gooey because of your sugar and your butter. You know, it's moving around. It'll seem gooey to you, but it's not. As long as you can touch in here like this. Cinnamon rolls, anyone? Look at those. If you like cinnamon rolls, you will love this recipe. Now, I want to share this recipe with you. No. Okay. What is it that I wanted to say? Okay. start it all over again. Homemade cinnamon rolls, anyone? Look at those. Those are so good. If you want this recipe for fluffy, just melt in your mouth cinnamon rolls, you will want to watch this video. Stay tuned. Okay. Did I do... And because your dough, it's a soft dough, as you start rolling it, you're going to find you're going to need to put just a little bit of powder, not a, do that again, a little bit of powder. Cinnamon rolls, anyone? Look at those. If you like cinnamon rolls, you will love this recipe. Now, I want to share this recipe with you. No. Okay. What is it that I wanted to say? Okay.